the kind of parties we have now, they are just room and parlor. You move from one side to the other, no ideology. The contenders on this side today are also the contenders on the other side tomorrow. So all of these things, those are the fallout of some of those things that we do. A party without strict ideology, we don't even know what they stand for.
Prof, you know, first of all, this has been repeated like twice already in your conversation with Mapwe, the communication ambit. You said, for emphasis, you teach development communication. Now, what one would expect is, just as you said, this shouldn't really have degenerated as far as it has, but here we are, and these things happen from time to time. So, in terms of communication, both within the Senate and the senator we're talking about now, and between the Senate, between the senator and her constituents, how would you rate the communication so far?
Very poor. Very, very poor. The communication aspect of the whole process was mishandled. You know, and I think it is more about ego than strategic communication. Because in communication, we look at the long run. At the long run, is it really what, you know, where will this lead to? Why not nip this thing in the bud before it becomes this way? Now, if we are not trying to suppress an information that has been given out, it becomes suspicious. You know, it is better to engage with the communication and give explanations and reach out for how we can have a peaceful settlement. This is a conflict situation. And my other aspect, my other area of interest is conflict-sensitive communication. You know, strategically, you need to see from beginning where all this will lead to. Is it worth it? Is it a situation where you could decree out or engage with it through explanation, through peaceful resolution, so that it doesn't become what it has become now? Okay. I'm sure all sides are embarrassed by whatever they think is going on. What is going on is embarrassing to all sides. And it's embarrassing to the society. It's embarrassing to the constituents. It's embarrassing to those of us who are watching from the sideline, who believe that Nigerians deserve a better leadership than we are having.
Well, now, Prof,
so the communication was mishandled right from the beginning.
Okay. So two things I'd like you to speak to very quickly. Still on communication. On the one hand, do you think, I mean, this is a yes or no question, do you think that if the communication had been gotten right and thought through from the very beginning, this whole thing wouldn't have boiled over as far as it has? Whatever your answer is, Prof, what do we do now? What kind of communication, what aspect, what approach to communication do you suggest to resolve these issues in a way that, I don't know how that is possible, in a way that the egos of the dramatis personae are still protected?
Yes, they really have to come back together. They really have to go back to check and say, where has the rain started between us, so that we can really resolve this matter. At the end of the day, you know, as we say in a war situation, wars will happen. At the end of the day, communication will still resolve whatever the outcome is. So why not short-circuit that process? You know, communities who, I mean, engage in fighting, they will, I mean, talk tough to each other. Sometimes, if you are able to resolve it at that point, it doesn't become crisis. By the time it becomes a crisis, violent crisis, it's a continuum, so as much as possible, try to short-circuit the process. Try to short-circuit the process so that at the end of the day, you arrive at a peaceful resolution. So even as bad as it seems now, my appeal to all the warring parties is, look, go back to the table, discuss these things, reach out to each other. It's not everything that you take to the media, even though media is supposed to know and enlighten us about things going on. But when there's a conflict situation, there are other avenues. There are parties. There are shadow parties. There are all sorts of people who you might not even come out, but have this ability to quench the fire. Now, this is related to the kind of political parties we now have. Can you imagine a political party under people like our Chief Obafemi Awolowo, who would not have, as a party, call all of those warring parties and say, look, stop this. This is the party's position. But the kind of parties we have now, they are just room and parlor. You move from one side to the other, no ideology. The contenders on this side today are also the contenders on the other side tomorrow. So all of these things, those are the fallout of some of those things that we do. A party without strict ideology, we don't even know what they stand for, except to win election. So if not, the institutions, strong institutions that we should have have been able to call these people to order and get them to speak and say that, look, in the long run, we are all losers. So it is in the self-interest of those contending forces to please come back, think, collaborate, talk, and then resolve this matter.